We're getting towards the end of this axle job, so I thought I'd drain the oil out. The first one I drain out is the bottom one. I'll take the bung out the bottom, this chap here, and see if it glugs. If it glugs, the breather's blocked, and of course what happened, it glugged. So we've got one last job. The oil, well, I don't know if you can see, can you? Hold on, have a look. That was the oil that was in it. Black, gungy. We can't use that again. Now I've had it all night in the workshop, draining. But before I fill it up, I'm just going to do a little winter trick. I'm going to warm up the bottom of the oil pan. See if we can get any remnants out of it. Watch it go bang. It'll be petrol in it. And we don't always have to do that. It's just here when it's cold. Well, looks like we've got that. Yeah, that's alright. It's not one drip. So now what we're going to do is use our filler thing over here. You know, that one we made, well I made, but you know, I thought it'd give you some ideas how to use it. And we're going to fill it up. Oh, you see, it is dripping a bit, look. Now, I'm going to get the thing over it. You'll probably see that I've left the drain bung out, because what I'm doing is I'm flushing it through. Which is another reason why I warmed it up. Now that's running nice and clean now, so we'll give the bottom of the bung a wipe. It's alright. Tighten it up. Just a quick flick, doesn't need that much. That's it. And now we'll fill it up. Getting there. There we go. Now, that's all it's going to get. Now, I'm going to recheck this once it's on the ground, and the axle will tip forwards a little bit, and this will come up, so it'll rotate a little bit, so we get the right level. But for now, it's going to be fine. At least it's got new oil in. Next thing, we're going to check the breather. I've noticed it's got some rubber hose on there rather than that nylon pipe. But yeah, actually, you know, if we're going to sort of wind this job up, the last real job I'm going to do is to check the tracking. Well, I'm going to do that on a separate section. But it hasn't cost us a great deal of money to fix this, because we didn't need a great deal of parts. We needed swivel grease, tab washers, gaskets, CV grease, tyre rod end, new bolts for the bottom of the shocks, new bushes for the bottom of the shocks, the tin washers there were missing, one brake pipe. Not too bad. Now, the idea about this was it's something that you can do yourself and catch things in time. The idea is not to let it get into this state. I could have changed the swivel balls, etc. But to tell you the honest truth, and this is the point of this channel, we want to save you a little bit of money, and by putting the grease in, I could see that those the pits weren't really like mission critical. I mean, if it was going heavily off-road or something like this, or going into competition, well, yeah, naturally we'd have it in tip-top shape. But it's only going to be driving around roads, so it's not going to get into harsh conditions. And the grease now will be in there for life, so that's a good thing. It'll just spray around and it'll lubricate everything up. I'm quite happy with that. So yes, you could replace everything and spend an awful lot of money. You could put new CVs in, a little bit loose on the spline, a little bit on the forward and backwards, but not rotary. That's the important thing. It's not the rotary. There is some play in the diff, but well, we'll have to live with that, I'm afraid. I maybe didn't tell you, but I put the prop on the right way around. The prop shaft was on backwards. Somebody's put a universal joint in it, put it on backwards, and also they didn't put any nylock nuts on the prop shaft bolts. In fact, the one at the end onto the flange, I didn't video that because it was a bit boring, but the flange on the output of the transfer box, well, it was only had 3 bolts in. So again, just cheap little things save an awful lot of problems later on. And that's it. So we've been through it and looked at the front end. So yeah, I'm happy with this. I mean, that's the thing. I look at the things, well, what would I be happy with? Not trying to cut corners. I'd drive this for years and years and years. You know, those swivel balls are going to get worse. You know, they're not going to get better, but they're going to get worse. But this car needs over $1,000 worth of tyres on it to be legal. So, if we've saved all that money by not replacing all those parts, that's not really 100% necessary right now, then he can get his tyres. We were sort of within budget and not going into borrowing money to do some repairs that doesn't really need it. All right, and this is one of the things you've got to, I'm sorry it's a bit of a ramble, but you've got to judge what you're going to do with your vehicle. This is fine, this is great. Some people might say, oh, you change this, change that, you should change it, but why? Why? It doesn't make any sense. You know, I mean, I'd change your sensor bits like these tie rods and stuff like this and bushes, but replacing shocks, well, maybe in the future. Work on a customer's budget, because we want customers to come back, not get ripped off like a lot of places around here do. Right, let's wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to put the wheels on and set the tracking now, so that'll be in another video. Making this Land Rover better? Yeah, I think so. Because I tell you something, if we didn't do it now, it would come in on the back of a tow truck with dry CVs both sides and busted this and busted that. So we caught that in time. See ya.